and stories, featuring newsmaker interviews and compelling features to add context, clarity, and answer the questions on your mind. Every Sundays from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁 box, Easy Box, and all DTT boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Seen on Facebook /DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Yeah.
And we are live. A wonderful Sunday, mga kachicha. Dito po si Vivian Velez, ang inyong kakwentuhan sa inyong weekly Sunday and chit-chat with Double V. Sumasa inyo live dito sa DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV. And for today, isa pong napakahalagang topic ang pagkukwentuhan natin. At syempre kasama ang aking co-host na fresh, Raymond Diamzon.
Wonderful Sunday to you, Vivs, Miss Forever Young. At sa ating mga kachitsa sa buong Pilipinas nakikinig. It's very exciting, informative, at empowering din ang inyong mapapanood today.
Well, yes, alam mo, pinagkakwentuhan nga natin kanina bago tayo nag-broadcast yung weather, no? Because I think medyo, in different parts of the Philippines, iba-iba, no? But then here sa north, medyo talaga for about 2 weeks now na talagang nag-uulan. And then, of course, tomorrow is going to be the sauna. Second sauna of President Marcos, and yung mga iba yata nag-declare na yata sa Manila na yung mga government offices medyo
especially dito sa Quezon City, walang pasok.
Walang pasok, no? Pero of course yung mga private medyo discretion daw talaga ng kanilang company. Well, okay, napakahalaga na itong talagang topic na pag-uusapan natin at makakasama natin ang mga special guests natin na malapit sa akin, of course, and introduce them, Monj.
Yes, sa ating special episode for today, pag-uusapan natin ang kwento ng pagtutulungan at pagbangon mula sa madilim na karanasan. So we're privileged to have the Executive Director of the Battle Against Ignorance Foundation and a leading anti-drug abuse advocate, Mr. Lito Gruet. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Raymond. Hello, Vivian. Thank you again for inviting me. 1 year na yun, ha? I think last year. 1 year na yata yun. This is my second time and I'm very honored. Honored talaga ako to be part of your show. Yeah,
it is our privilege na makakasama ka namin ngayon, and of course with others also, no, later on ipapakilala natin sila Lito, no. Alam mo, Monj, si Lito naman kasi siguro hindi na iba, no, sa mga nakakapanood sa atin at saka dun sa ating mga listeners, because he's been really advocating, no, yung kanyang advocacy, no? Lito, can you tell us about your advocacy?
Well, I'm the executive director now of Battle Against Ignorance Foundation, and the reason why it's called Battle Against Ignorance Foundation is primarily because we live in a society that so much lack awareness and understanding and acceptance. And by battling the ignorance of the people, we call it ignorance because they lack awareness of all the social ills that they can avoid if only they were informed and made aware of. And the reason why I'm very passionate about this is because we help all the broken, lonely, wounded, and hurting people who need our help and understanding. And the reason why I'm here is because I went through the same thing. So they have a special part in my heart, especially the drug dependents who really want to change but have been stigmatized. They've been considered as outcasts by society. And sadly, society does not really look favorably to people who want to recover because they still look at them as people who should be judged and condemned. More so, we also help the street dwellers who we believe deserve a second chance. The street dwellers that are still capable psychologically of being treated. No? They can be loved, they can be cared for. And again, it also has a special part in my heart kasi tumira rin ako sa kalye. So, naintindihan ko yung buhay nila. Yeah.
Yeah, because alam mo, Monj, also, I do believe that it takes a drug addict to help another addict, no, to free themselves from substance abuse, and that they're really the best people, no, to at least to help solve the problem, kasi they experience it themselves, diba? And dito, you know, matagal ka na rin naman na nagbibigay ng testimonies, no, when it comes to your experiences. But can you give us a little brief lang dun sa mga hindi pa nakapakinig sa yung mga testimonies? Alam niyo po, si Lito kasi used to be a former actor. Well, I think still is. Kita nag-model ka lang lately because he used to be one of those glamorous Pitoy Moreno model, di ba?
Founding member ng 𝗵𝗵𝘶.
Yes. And you know, and then of course, and then things happened. And gusto ko lang talagang tanungin because at that time, nung bago ka naging dependent sa drugs, you were at the top of your career, Lito. Diba? I mean, alam mo naman, Monj, hindi ko naman pwede maging Pitoy Moreno. Not everybody can be a Pitoy Moreno model, diba?
Yeah.
And not only that, and then you became an actor, no? Talagang, and so you were on top of the world, as you can say that, diba, Lito? So what happened? I mean, what made you, you know, get into of course, illegal drugs, no?
Well, thank you for your very relevant questions. No, I really like you interviewing me because you really asked the right questions. No? So anyway, simply put, I was ignorant. No, I was unaware, and I was living a life wherein I forgot about depending on God because I thought I was on top of the world. So I became from Cebu. I was an ordinary student who wanted to become an architect, and never in my mind would I ever imagine. Just like so many children, when they're asked, nobody plans to become an addict or an alcoholic or a criminal, right? But things happen. It's because we lack awareness. And in my case, I fortunately, when I went to Manila, I was discovered by Pitoy, and then I started, we founded the Professional Models Association of the Philippines, 1987. And then from then on, I started to travel, modeling abroad, and modeling for the top designers. And then commercials came in, and then movies came in also. So to make this long story short, I did not protect myself. And that's the problem when you're living at the moment, when you are not aware of what can happen in the future. Kasi sarap ng buhay eh, di ba? Even you, Vivian, alam mo, the top of your career din, hindi mo talaga iniisip anong mangyayari 10 years from now, anong mangyayari 15 years from now. Hindi, you're living at the moment eh. You were living at the moment of your popularity, and it's like, you know, this is heaven, this is the life that I want, no? But
especially
again,
because I'm sorry to interrupt you. You know, we'll have to make them aware also because of the industry that we're in.
Yes. Correct,
so
yes.
Totally different, diba?
Oo, talaga. When I got into the movies, it was ganito karampant kasi lumabas yung shabu, no? It reached a point, and I speak with authority, na ang tanong dapat sa'yo is, bakit hindi ka gumagamit? Diba? Pag sinabing hindi ka gumagamit ng shabu, ikaw yung weird eh. Ikaw yung abnormal eh. What's wrong with you? I haven't tried. Parang ganun, it was already generally accepted. The last movie I did was with Senator Lito Lapid, no? And then before that, I was doing other movies. It was like from caterer to utility man to makeup artist to lahat, props man, director, lahat ay at one time or another gumagamit. So that was the advent of crystal meth or shabu. So at that time, nobody will think that, ano mangyayari now? You know it's a crime. You know that it destroys the mind eventually because you know about the toxic chemicals. You know it's going to destroy your family. It's going to destroy your career. But just the same, we will continue. Because then we would not really weigh much on the consequences. So ako naman, akala ko una, yung parang using lang, nakikiuso, ganun. But then again, when I tried shabu, yun talaga ang pinaka nag-trigger sa aking downfall. So in short, I started to withdraw from that world, no? Kaya ako nakaka-relate kina Berta, which you'll be meeting, and the rest of the other street brothers. Parang ang hirap paniwalaan na pwede mangyari sa'yo. Pero yung nangyari naman sa akin was that parang nagwi-withdraw na ako sa mundo because I didn't want to be seen anymore. I had no more job. I lost my car. I lost my house. I lost my friends. I stayed away from my family. And I was already interacting with a variety of criminals already. Doon ako nung tumitira sa squatters area. And it reached a point na doon ako sa mga park jeepneys natutulog sa madaling araw, sa mga tricycle, mga pedicab, sa Luneta, sa Roas Boulevard, tulog na rin ako doon sa tabi ng mga simbahan. At kapag ginutom ako, I would shoplift. I would go even to grocery shoplift for chocolates. And then magnanakaw ako ng mga empty bottles ng Coca-Cola kung saan-saan lang. Tapos i-deposit ko yun sa sari-sari store. 5 piso na yun. So 2 Spanish bread na yun para sa akin. So that was my meal for the day. And then the next, pag busog na ako, yun na naman isip yung ano naman gagawin ko the next day. So this became a routine wherein tinanggap ko yung ganyang klaseng buhay na eh. Kaya ito, lesson rin para sa mga parents at sa mga nakikinig ng mga estudyante na sana wag niyo isipin na hindi mangyayari sa inyo. Because if it happened to me from being a pitoyong role model to become a criminal until umabot ako sa pagiging taong kalye, tsaka kriminal pa, it just goes to show that you have to educate yourself or educate your children of the dangers because it's always there. It's lurking. Diba?
It is not.
Now,
dito, ano ko lang, no? Because the danger, the one that you're saying, kasi if it can happen to you, then it can happen to anyone.
yes.
Pero kasi, nung tinry mo siya, kasi yung mga iba kasi sasabihin lang, susubukan ko lang naman eh.
Yes.
And then I can get out of it as easy as I get in. Diba? That's not what it is, right, Lito?
No, yeah. That's because we're ignorant of what drugs is all about. That is why hindi na ang dangerous drugs board ang humahawak ngayon sa mga drug cases and the drug problem in the Philippines. It's now turned over to the Department of Health kasi it is already considered a disease. Diba? So it's easy for people to say, just stop, you can madali lang tumigil. It's your choice. You just have to do this. For some pwede, but for some din hindi kasi sakit nga eh. So when umabot na sa point noon na nagkakalkal na ako ng basura, naghahanap ako ng yung mga malalaking bin, naghahanap ako ng mga tinapon na fast food packs. That was the time I was thinking, what's happening na tumi, grabe. But gutom na ako noon. So I would eat even yung tutong ng mga panis na kanin na nilalanggam Papagpagin ko lang yung langgam, tapos isasawsaw ko lang sa toyo. Ulam ko na yon. Umabot sa ganon, no? So, tumira din ako sa squatters area na nakita ko ng klase-klaseng mga criminals ang kasama ko doon. So, dati, I was rubbing elbows with the cream of society, mga models, actors, politicians, mga rich people. In 10 short years, again, I was rubbing elbows, but this time, literally, last time figuratively. Literally, kasi maliliit yung mga drug din eh. So kasama ko doon mga carnappers, mga human traffickers, mga tulak, prostitutes, pimps, mga forgers, lahat ng klaseng criminals, yan ang nagiging kasama ko na. But the sad part is, tinanggap ko, no? Naglalaban na ako ng brief ng pusher para lang makagamit ako, inuutusan ako, para akong utusan. Tinatanggap ko lahat yun. And I was arrested 5 times. I was convicted once. I was beaten up by the police. I was almost executed by a drug syndicate member. So many of these things. And then the problem is, para kasing naging, tinanggap ko na ganyan yung buhay ko eh. Parang it became a comfort zone when I was not responsible for anything else or anyone else anymore. Yung parang sabi ko, ganito na yung buhay ko, mamamatay ako, ang dami ko ng sakit nun. I had hepatitis, I had hypertension, I was borderline diabetic, I had cystitis, I had gout and everything. And I said, Mama, the Lord, I said, if I'm gonna die as an addict, so be it, tanggap ko na. But then, as you can see, I guess He has other plans for me.
Oo, Lito.
Now,
Lito, ilang taon yan? Ilang taon kang...
16 years. 16 years.
16
I
years?
did it for 16 years. Yeah. So, kaya nawala ako sa nawala ako sa eksena, in short eksena. Nawala ako because I was already living the life of a full-blown drug dependent. So, ang nakakatakot nandiyan, alam mo, Raymond and Vivian, again, nagiging comfort zone namin eh. Kaya nakaka-relate ako kay Berta. Berta is a very inspiring person you will meet now. A former teacher din. Mag-iisip ka, paano umabot ng teacher na maging 27 years nagbebeg sa kalye? Paano maito si Mr. Coke? Paano naman siya isang aspiring amateur basketball player, an artist that would join national competitions, and he was also a model, no? Paano umabot din na nagiging taong kalye sila?
Yes.
Diba? Nagbebeg na lang sila. It's because we learned, ako, in a way, I didn't live in the streets for that long, not like them. Si Mr. Cook, 3 years, si Berta, 27 years. But mag-iisip ka eh, ano ba nangyari sa kanila? Bakit umabot sila sa ganun? Ordinary people who do not experience drugs cannot understand. It is because there is a what we call the addiction gene, which is passed on from generation to generation. Sometimes it may skip a generation, but kapag nasa'yo yung gene na yon, ibig sabihin, madali ka matrigger. No? For example, tayo, Vivian, magkatabi tayo, kasama tayo. Tapos, sasabihin mo, tikim tayo ng shabu, ganun. Sige, sige. Ikaw, titikman mo. Ako, titikman ko rin. Same amount, same kind, lahat. Pero ikaw, sabihin mo, hindi ko trip. Bukas, ayoko na tirahin. Ako, ibang epekto sa akin. Parang, wow, I want to continue trying. So in the back of yung brain, nagtitrigger na yung addiction eh. Na gusto ko pa ito. Hindi ka na makakapigil. You won't be able to stop anymore. And this is what society does not understand. They see drug addicts as people who made wrong choices, people who they should be condemned, they should be judged, and in some cases, sasabihin nila, dapat patayin na lang yan eh, patayin na lang yan eh. So, hindi nila naintindihan. That is why we at Battle Against Ignorance also try to educate the public. Part of our education is to inform the public that when you look at a drug dependent or you look at a street dweller, wag niyong isipin hopeless. Kasi hindi niyo alam anong pinagdaanan nito. Iisipin niyo dapat, gusto ba niya maging addict? Gusto ba niya maging street dweller?
Yeah. And actually, sir, di ba, nabanggit niyo, ano, tawag nito, yung pagka, di ba, nasururok ka ng tagumpay, whether you're from the acting or modeling industry, or you're from the teaching industry. And then all of a sudden, pagka nabiktima ka ng drug abuse and dependency, everybody disappears from your life. Lahat ng mga tinuturing mo mga tunay na kaibigan, even family and relatives, they shun you, and then parang they don't help you. And then, that's the reason why you find yourself alone, nagpupunta ka para umasa ng tulong, pinagtatabuyan ka, and you find yourself in the streets. And ikinahihiya ka ng lipunan, in other words. Tama po, sir, no?
Yes. But cases, even if the families do not push you away, you yourself begin to get out eh. Kasi parang gusto mo, independent ka. Gusto mo, yung paggising mo, dalawa lang iisipin mo. Saan ako makakahanap ng pagkain? Saan ako makakahanap ng pera para mag-drugs? Hindi ka na mag-iisip na mag-toothbrush, hindi ka na mag-shave, hindi ka na maliligo, at lahat-lahat na yan. Hindi ka na maghahanap ng trabaho. So, we have to understand that when, kapag yung, ito studies na ito, no? Kapag yung great-great-great-grandfather mo may addiction gene, pasa-pasa yan. No? So, minsan to skip a generation, but pag umabot sa'yo, ibig sabihin, even if it was a different kind of addiction, maybe it was gambling, maybe it was alcohol, pagdating sa'yo, may addiction gene ka, pero ang nag-trigger sa'yo naman is shabu. Diba? Magiging addict ka rin talaga. And this is what society has to understand also, na sometimes it's not as easy as saying that, oh, you made a choice, then why don't you make a choice? You stop it. Eh? It's a disease nga, hindi nga pwede. Now, when you see also street dwellers, sasabihin nyo, mabaho yan, di ba? Dapat mga siraulo yan, di ba? Mga nakakatakot yan. You have to understand also, ano bang nangyari sa taong ito? At kung bakit umabot sa ganyan situation. Most of the time, if you go to the rehabs and you find out about the history of all these people who are recovering from drug abuse, if you find out the history of all these people that are dwelling in the streets, you find trauma. A trauma more often than not. Unless siguro yung pag pinanganak na sila, may problema na sila sa pag-iisip, no? Na talagang permanent na. But for most of them, umabot sila sa ganyan because nagkaroon sila ng talagang very painful or traumatic experience while growing up. It could have been they were abused, they were beaten up, they were unloved, they were bullied, or they grew up witnessing a very dysfunctional family. Yung tatay, babaero, yung nanay, sugarol, yung kapatid, adik. Diba? Na-molest sila, na-rape sila. Diba? All these situations will really affect the child. But of course, the child cannot express. Di pa nila ma-express yan eh. But nasa isipan nila yun. At the back of their minds, remember, kung anong nakikita ng mga bata sa mga mas nakakatanda, susundin nila or tatandaan nila yun. So this will manifest later on kapag yung bata ay lumaki na at nagkakaroon ng sariling pag-iisip, nagkakaroon ng sariling desisyon sa buhay. And he's discovering or she is discovering himself or herself already. Ngayon, kapag ganun ang nangyayari, nag-umpisa na yan, it will start getting affected already. And this is where temptation will come in. Kapag lumabas na yung resentment, yung hate, yung anger, it's so easy for drug pushers or drug dealers to detect na ito, customer to, sigurado. So they begin to befriend the students na nakikita na yan, distraught, vulnerable at lahat-lahat, kakaibiganin nila, at ito na magiging kaibigan nila. But actually, walang pagmamahal yung tao. Ang gusto nilang nila ay magkaroon ng customer. So this is what happens when a person, how do you call this? They are not aware. Like me, I didn't want to become a drug addict. I was happy already as a model and an actor, pero umabot sa ganun. Kasi isipin mo, iba from being a top model, naging criminal ka, no? Nagiging nakukulong ka, ganun. So this is just a perfect example to let the public know, whether you're parents or you will become future parents, that you have to be educated, you have to be aware and not to be ignorant about drug abuse. Kasi paano mo when I do talks in schools, they invite me. When I talk to the parents, I said, how can you protect your children from addiction? The moment they step out of your home physically, you cannot protect them anymore. They are already vulnerable to the environment. Wala kang magagawa.
Lito, you brought a very important angle, no, when it comes to this addiction, is talagang yung accessibility. Because as you were saying, kasi yung parents, like sometimes nakatutok ka naman, pero pagdating sa school, accessibility of drugs, like sabi mo nga, meron mga nagpo-push, kaya nga tawag doon pusher.
Yes.
Because they push the drugs, no, into you, no? So, meaning, importante rin yun, ano? Kasi kung ang access mo dito sa mga ganitong klaseng drugs is so easy, madali kang matempt, right?
Yes. When you are already vulnerable, you're emotionally vulnerable already, and you're spiritually bankrupt, then madali ka matukso. Diba? Ang tukso is everywhere. Believe me, everywhere there is temptation. Now, how do you protect your child from being tempted? Is by educating them. Physically, when they step out of the house, you cannot protect them na. So bahala na sila sa buhay nila. Sana walang mangyari. Ngayon, even if they're at home, even sa bulsa nila, meron silang cellphone, laptop, lahat, computer, they're exposed already to all these different kinds of information. And, nandyan lahat yung mga kalokohan, nandyan lahat yung mga temptation. So right there and then also, they are already exposed to the possibility of being influenced by drugs, no? or whatever vices there are. So how do you protect them this way? By making them aware. Parents, teach their children about sex education when they're growing up. Why? So they will be aware na pag labas nila, hindi sila ignorante. Na kapag merong lalaki lalapit sa kanila at mangliligaw-ligaw, hindi sila basta-basta madadala kasi aware sila. Tinuruan sila ng mga magulang. Same case with drugs. Yung drugs kasi, kapag ang magulang mismo, mga magulang, they are uneducated, they're ignorant about what drugs is all about and how it affects and how it can destroy the life. And mind you, they always tend to forget that it's a crime. Mga enablers, yung mga konsentidor, nakakalimutan nila na krimen yan. Kapag nahuli yung mahal nila sa buhay, that's a different animal that you will have to be dealing with. Ngayon, by educating your children, you at least meron na silang awareness na kapag lumabas sila, pumunta sila sa school, pumunta sila sa trabaho, aware na sila. So this is where we come in battle against ignorance. That is why I really am grateful to Pastor Ronnie De Los Santos. He's the president of Battle Against Ignorance and also of Safe Haven. Na pinili niya ako, he asked me to be able to be the executive director because I said, this is perfect. This is perfect because we have to educate the people. We have to stop the stigma. We have to go to school to educate the students on the dangers of drug abuse. And that's what I've been doing for the past so many years. I've been clean 23 years already, and I've been doing this the whole 23 years of my life. No? Even in Hong Kong, nagtutok ako sa mga OFWs doon. Kasi, yung education is really the key.
Oo. Well, you know, Lito, alam naman dito yung Monch, di ba? No, maskin pag mga bata tayo, I mean, our parents always tells us na, okay, don't talk to strangers, okay? Or
Yes.
something like that. I mean, as simple as that, ano? Pero pagka, kasi, yung environment mo, yun nga yung sinasabi natin dito, pagka yung environment mo is susceptible for, you know, saying that, hindi, normal lang naman yan eh. Diba? And that's when you get in trouble, no? Of course, yung as you were saying, education and you know, yung guidance, no, ng ating mga parents and even our teachers, even in school, no. Kaya lang talaga nagkakataon minsan, ano, pagka you want to belong, yung nga yung sinasabi nila, kasi minsan may mga barkada rin na, you know, finding your in trouble, kasi minsan yung trouble din yung kung sino yung mga kaibigan na kasama mo, no? But then pagkatapos nito, if you're already addicted, kasi alam naman natin there are, pagka sinabi mong try ko lang naman yan, and then after one or two, or twice, what can happen to me, di ba? Hindi naman ibig sabihin nun addict na ako, but that's not the point because alam natin, like, of course, yung shabu na tinatawag natin is highly addictive, hindi ba? I mean,
Yes.
pagka pumasok na yon sa katawan mo, talagang kumbaga, you know, I have a friend kasi ganyan na nangyari, no, because siya rin kasi parang try lang kasi may mga barkada, mga ganyan. And, you know, she told me, sabi ko gano'n sa kanya, I mean, you usually can get out of this addiction. Sabi ko, what's the difference now? I mean, how come you can't do it? Alam mo, sabi niya, ang meth daw is one of those drugs na talagang ang hirap daw talaga tanggalin. Meaning the addiction. Is that true, Lito?
Yes. Yes, because you have to look at the chemical components, the toxins that comprise methamphetamine. This very deadly and destructive toxins, actually, when you take shabu, it goes straight to the brain. Now, the target of the toxins, some of the chemicals, increase the dopamine in the brain. This is the pleasure part of the brain. So, ibig sabihin, kapag tumira ka ng shabu, para kang, para kang nagiging Superman eh. Diba? You get hyper, you feel you're so smart, you feel ang pogi-pogi mo, you feel na matalino ka, you feel so confident. It uplifts your spirit, you're happy. You want to enjoy, you want to talk, you want to socialize. So it is really a drug that will increase your being sociable.
Yes.
And actually, during World War II, that is what the Germans were taking. They had a drug called pervitin, which was issued to the military, and all the Germans were taking pervitin, which was amphetamines, and that is why they are very known for their blitzkrieg war. Walang tulugan.
Yes.
Walang tulugan. Yung mga, ang tawag na, mga superhuman, yung mga Germans, walang tulugan, hindi kumakain, lahat, because they were taking that. Because originally, amphetamine was created to treat depression. You see, legally, it was created by a German pharmaceutical to treat depression. So it will increase yung pagiging self-aware mo, so hindi ka na depressed. But then it was discontinued for some time when side effects started to come out already. So ganon. So ngayon, ito naman yung drugs, adulterated drugs na amphetamines na pumapasok in the form of shabu. Iba-iba kasi yung chemist niyan eh. Iba-iba yung timpla. But lahat ito, kung alam mo lang yung mga components niyan, matatakot ka talaga. So the parents also have to know about this, and the children. Ako, tinatakot ko yung mga bata eh. When I talk to them, I tell the teachers, I'm sorry, but when I talk to kids, if I have to scare them, I will. Because I'll just tell you some of the components. You have acetone, you have ephedrine, you have toluene. That's where they make brake fluid. You have phosphorus. You have industrial cleaners. Yung mga industrial paints, paint thinners. Lahat yan. These are highly volatile, highly flammable, and these are very destructive. Pinaghalo-halo lahat yan, madami yan sila. Naglulusaw ng goma, naglulusaw siya ng mga roadkill, lahat yan, all those chemicals. And imagine you put that in your brain every day. So chances are, yung iba, nababaliw na sila for good.
Yeah.
Diba? And that's a sad part. And me, I'm fortunate that medyo matibay-tibay ako, at saka si Berta, mamaya, you will see also the transformation of Berta. Kapag you interview him, you will show how he looked like before, and they will see what we are doing. Also, Mr. Cope, if you just say hello to him,
Yeah,
makita mo yung ano siya noon, makikita nyo na ito palang ginagawa ng Bai Foundation at saka Safe Haven. Yung Bai Foundation kasi, Vivian, is a foundation that collaborates with Safe Haven. Berta was confined, and actually, Mr. Cook, they live now in Safe Haven kasi Safe Haven is the treatment facility. It's a rehab, but they also have people like them na tinutulungan. Yung Bai Foundation naman is a foundation that tries to raise money to be able to help fund these people that are picked up from the streets or are surrendered by the LGU. Nasasabihin lang, tulungan niyo ito, di ba? Kasi nasa kalye ito, gano'n. Wala namang budget sila, as usual. So nangyayari dyan, we try our best to raise money to be able to help. Although maliit pa kami, we're not big. We're still trying to look for government grants and support. But matutuwa ka pag makita mo yan you can talk to Berta and you can say hello to Mr. Cook.
Actually, we can say hello to them already, and maybe we can.
Okay,
Yes.
Would you like to show? Okay. I would like to show you first. May picture ba tayo niyan ni Mr. Cope muna?
Natin sa studio, can you kindly please yung ating mga slides? Meron tayong mga slides. Yan.
Not that. That's in that. Babae yan. Natulungan namin yan. Sige.
So go ahead.
Next. Yeah, that's in that. Dati kumakain siya sa Jollibee, sa kalye. Ngayon, customer na siya ng Jollibee. Yan. Okay, yung tatlo na yan.
Okay.
On the left top is Berta. Siya yung 27-year-old na teacher noon. And below, that's already Berta now. In the middle, that's Nog-Nog. No, Nog-Nog ang tawag sa kanila. And now, that's Nog-Nog also at the bottom. And on the right is Mr. Coke. At saka, eto na siya ngayon, si Mr. Coke. Can you have a photo of the show, yung solo lang ni Mr. Coke?
Okay.
The studio?
The slide natin.
That one. That one. Okay? So, that was before and this is now. So just say hello to him, Mr. Cope.
Ang laki ng difference, ano?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. It's like a totally different person.
Wow. Hello.
Hi. Hi, sir.
Mr. Cope siya.
Mr. Cope.
Hi, Vivian.
Hello. I've heard about your stories also from Lito, no? Talagang remarkable naman talaga ang iyong transformation, ano? Mr. Coke, gaano ka katagal na nasa anong tawag natin? Naging street dweller.
Nagano ako katagal sa?
Gaano
Sa kalye.
oo. Sa kalye, oo, sa kalye.
Ako naman, hindi naman ako masyado nagtatagal eh. Pagka ano lang, isang
Oo.
tinatapos.
Oo. Well, kasi ilang years? 16 years, oo.
You know, I'm a basketball player during the before, yeah.
Oo.
I used to play with 𝗵𝗶𝘁. Yeah.
Si Bong, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, oo.
Salamat ka rin kay Bong, siya may pera kasi nga malaki kita niya eh. Superstar siya.
Correct, oo.
Yeah, si 𝗵𝗶𝘁, siya. Mr. Excitement.
Yes.
Gandang
Oo.
lalaki. Gawin mo kamusta siya. Nakamusta.
Okay. So, ngayon ay nasa safe haven ka ngayon. Oo.
Yeah.
Oo. And can you please tell us kung paano yung naging storya mo? Kung paano ka nila nahanap?
You know, I was born in Davao.
Okay.
So, nung pinanganak ako, talagang it was a destiny. Kasi bihira sa taong may sariling disposisyon. Lalo na pag buhay na pinag-usapan. Sabi ko, alam mo, ang tao, lahat yan talaga naman, tao yan eh. Tao yan eh. Miski na kahit anong gawin mo, tao yan. Wala kang magagawa. So, kung nagkamali man yan, ibig sabihin, walang may kasalanan. Talaga, hindi naman kasi, yun nga, talagang,
Tadhana.
Tama ba? Tadhana is a destiny?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, Vivian.
Okay.
Goodbye, Vivian.
Ay, medyo nag-change yung channel ng konti. Hindi bale, no?
Napunta kasi sa basketball eh.
Yeah, he was really an aspiring basketball player. So he's still undergoing treatment. But ito ngayon talaga, I'm very proud to...
Transformation niya, Lito, grabe, no? Transformation niya, no?
Ito yung papakilala ko ngayon. Sana makita natin. Si Berta naman. Can we show some of this, ano?
Yes. Oo, sa studio po natin.
He joins me sa mga schools kasi resource speaker na siya. He speaks English, he speaks Tagalog. Magaling, kumakanta, sumasayaw, lahat yan. Magaling talaga siya. And he's blessed na, maybe we can show sa studio yung...
sa studio, yan.
Ayan, okay.
Kapag ng photo na yan?
Ang ganda, parang painting.
Parang siyang yan. Okay?
Yeah.
So, freeze dyan.
Yan.
Ayan, freeze natin dyan. So
natin.
now, I'll introduce you to Berta.
Hello, good afternoon. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, lalo na sa iyo, Ma'am Vivian Velez.
Hi, good afternoon.
Ikaw ba yun? I mean, oh my God, I could not even recognize. Diba, Monch, ma-recognize mo
nga, hindi, parang ibang tao.
Oo.
Fresh na fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh, tama. Oo. Kuya, yan ba yung tawag? Ngayon na nasa isa kang parang speaker, no? Dito sa Safe Haven.
Yeah.
Oo. Pwede ka ba go ahead, Marge.
Yes, can you take us back, Kuya Berta, sa iyong naging journey na sabi nga, di ba, naging teacher ka dati and then you became the 27th year street dweller. Ano po yung parang naging karanasan ninyo during that experience in your life until
kasi nangyari yun, no, pagkatapos nung nagturo ako sa mga elementary students, iniwan ko yung bag ko sa loob ng schools, tapos lumabas kasi ako kasi may bili-bili ako. So pagbalik ko, hindi na ako pinapasok ng gwardiya, so nagagalit ako. Bakit hindi mo ako papasok? Nagtuturo ako dyan, maestra ako dyan. Tapos ayun, parang nagkagulo kami konti, tapos hindi kami nagkaintindihan. Nilock niya yung door, hindi niya ako pinapasok. So ang ginagawa ko, na-disappointed ako at the time. So umuwi ako sa bahay. So pag uwi ko sa bahay, nag-umiyak ako kasi bakit ayaw nila akong papasukin, wala naman akong ginawang kasalanan. So after that, to make story short, hindi na ako bumalik sa school, hindi na ako nagtuturo. So naka-meet ako ng other person na nagdi-deal ng shabu. So pinatake din niya ako ng shabu. So gayon nakatake ako ng shabu. So sabi ko, "Aba, ang ganda ng feelings Ang ganda nito, parang na-relieve yung problems ko, parang ako, iba talaga ang tama ba? Iba talaga yung high ng drugs." So, after that, palagi na akong gumagamit, palagi na akong bumibili, yung pera ko sa bangko, kinuha ko na, yung deposit ko na pera, kinuha ko na, binili ko na ng shabu, hanggang to make parang ginawa kong yung sarili ko, parang nawala na ako sa tamang destinasyon ng buhay dahil yun lang ang dahilan na hindi ako pinapasok ng gwardiya. So andun yung mga license ko sa pagka-teachers, andun sa bag ko, andun yung mga bagay ko, yung mga lahat ng mga importanteng mga papilis nandun. So naiwan ko doon, hindi ko na binalikan. So, nagpatuloy ako sa pagtitake ng drugs hanggang sa nawala na ako sa sarili ko. Pumupunta na ako sa mga streets at hanggang sa naligaw na ako ng landas. Tapos, palagi akong pupunta sa mga carbon market, sa Puente Osmeña, sa Cebu, sa part ng Cebu. Nakikilala ako sa lahat ng mga tao sa Cebu dahil taga Cebu din ako, no? So, doon ako pumupunta, humingi ako ng pagkain, ng pera, pero yung pera na ibinigay nila sa akin, ibibili ko lang ng drugs. So kaya nga useless ang lahat. So parang papunta sa walang patutunguhan yung buhay ko.
Oo. Paano ka natagpuan ng safe haven? At paano ka napunta?
Isang tao, si 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁, isa siyang vlogger. Sinubaybayan niya ako habang nandun ako sa Puente, kumakanta ako ng nang ibigin kita, marami ang nagtaka, ganun. Yung mga kantang ganun, yung mga may Milda Papin, yung mga ganun. So, sinubaybayan niya ako, kumakanta ako sa mga tao, tapos kung kumanta, bibigyan ako ng pera. Minsan, pagkain. So, sinubaybayan niya ako, sabi niya, kawawa naman itong taong to, tutulungan ko to. So, nilapitan niya ako ni 𝗖𝗵𝗁, sabi niya, gusto kitang tulungan, ipasok kita sa rehabilitation center, sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁, para gumaling ka, para magsimula ka sa panibagong mong buhay. Sabi ko, okay, papayag ako. Sa ano bang kapatid mo? Ko si Evangeline Plando. So, pinuntahan niya yung kapatid ko, kinausap niya. Tapos, sabi naman ng kapatid ko, humingi siya ng pahintulot na ipasok ako sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁, sa rehabilitation center. So, pumayag naman ng kapatid ko. So, ayun, pumirma ang kapatid ko ng contract para ipasok ako sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁. So, 7 o'clock in the evening, pinakain pa ako sa Chikaan, sa Puente Osmeña, doon sa uptown. So, nagkainan kami ni Anton, hindi ko alam na shot star na pala yun. Yung pinaplano na pala nila yun na pick upin ako. So kumakain ako, ang kanta pa ako na kumain, tapos ganun, ang saya-saya ko pa, akala ko wala lang mangyayari. So ako pagkatapos ng 7 o'clock in the evening, dumating na yung pick uppers, no, nagtatakot ako, baka isa-salvage ako kasi drug addict ako Kasi street dwellers ako, baka sabi ko, anong kasalanan ko sa inyo? Ba't niyo ako pick upin? So, huwag ka na magsalita, pumasok ka na sa van. Ayun, tinulak ako, pinapasok ko sa van, dinala ako sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁. Ay, thank God, salamat Panginoon, sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁 ako dinala, hindi ako sinalvage.
Okay.
Yun lang po.
Oo.
Ang ganda, Vibs, na naging turn around ng story niya kasi before, we don't know kung ano yung naging dahilan kung ba't di siya pinapasok sa school. But, di ba, parang yung naging turn of fate sa kanya, teacher pa din.
Yung sinasabi mong twist of fate, ganun lang kabilis yun, ano? I mean, really, dahil lang doon sa hindi niya pagpasok sa school, no? Yun na nga, pero yun nga, pinag-uusapan natin kanina, no, with Lito, na talagang meron lang nag-offer sa kanya and that's it, no? Dire-diretso ka na. And gusto rin nating malaman, nag-hang ba sila? Oo. Nag-hang ba yung ni Lito?
Nag-hang?
Okay lang, okay. Oo. So, Ang alam ko kasi talaga, yung story talaga naging viral yun eh, Monch. Naging
Oo,
viral.
viral po. Oo.
Oh,
Mhm.
pagka nakikita mo nung araw, yung mga ginagawa mo, anong masasabi mo naman sa sarili mo ngayon?
Sabi ko, it's funny, talagang nakakatawa. Sabi ko, talagang iba na talaga ang buhay ko ngayon. Sabi ko, Lord, I thank God na you changed me very well. Na God answered my prayer na sabi ko, ito ang totoong buhay. Nagbalik na ako sa tamang buhay na hindi na nagdodroga, hindi na nagbibisyo, hindi na nag-alcoholic, hindi na sad ang buhay ko, maligaya na ako. Kasi every Sunday may service din sa church, sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁, may Sunday services para sa Panginoon, the Word of God. So ngayon, palagi na akong makikinig sa Word of God at palagi na akong nag-cry, nag-repented na ako sa lahat ng kasalanan ko. Sabi ko, Lord, ang ganda palaga na may Christian life, may Christianity yung life ko na palapit sa iyo, Panginoon, na baguhin mo ako sa totoo, Lord, na I walk in a good way of life. Ngayon, I do good, I'll be good, living good, at saka maligaya na ako sa buhay ko kahit ganito na ang narating ko. Pero sa ngayon, ang ganda kasi Ma'am Vivian Velez, binigyan ako ng trabaho sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁. Stop ako ngayon. Ako po yung tagapagbigay ng mga records sa mga clients, mga notebook, ballpens, pen paper. Ako din tagapag-xerox sa mga kung yung may dapat i-xerox. Tapos yung monthly ko, ma'am, is 8,000 pesos. May salary na ako. So, hindi na ako worried. So, in terms of financial blessings, meron na akong sweldo every month. So, ang half, ibibigay ko sa kapatid ko para may mabibili silang pagkain. So, yung half naman para sa sarili ko, yung pambili ng sabon, shampoo, toothpaste, lahat, pambili yung pang hygiene sa personal ko. So, every month umuwi ako sa amin sa Rodriguez sa Cebu. Pumunta ako sa kapatid ko, magdala na ako ng half money para sa kanya. Sabi ko, ate, ito lang ang ng perang ibibigay ko sa iyo. So, sana maintindihan mo ang kalagayan ko kasi hindi naman malaki ang sahod ko. At saka alam mo, malaking trials, Ma'am Vivian Velez, sa aking buhay. Kasi nasunugan kami ng bahay bago lang noong October last year. So, buti na lang, may pera akong naipon na 30,000 pesos. Pina-deposit ko ni Anton Camelo kasi nagpatuloy ang aming relationship ni Anton eh. Habang nasa loob ako ng rehab, may communication kami. Palagi niya akong chini-cheer up. Binigyan niya ako ng encouragement talaga. So sabi ko, Anton, i-deposit mo yung pera ko ito o i-deposit mo. Hanggang umabot sa 30,000. Sabi ko, Anton, kailangan ko ang pera kasi nasunog ang bahay ng kapatid ko. So binigay ni Anton yung 30,000 pesos. Sabi ko, Anton, salamat ha. Binigay ko kaagad sa kapatid ko, uy, patukod mo ng bahay yun, ipagawa mo ng bahay yun. At least meron kayong masisilungan, hindi kayo maulanan, hindi kayo makatulog sa mga tabi-tabi. Ayokong maging katulad kayo sa akin na street dwellers na matutulog sa tabi-tabi. Noon, alam mo ma'am, 27 years at andyan ako sa street natutulog. Agi-agi ng mga jeepney, mga cars, mga alikabok, mga ulan, init. Ginakantan ko talaga. Pero sabi ko ate, pag makaipon ako ng pera, ipalaki mo pa ng kunti ng bahay para meron naman din akong kwarto doon. Paggawan mo ako ng kwarto. Kasi paglabas ko sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁, doon ako titira. Kasi hindi naman forever ako sa 𝗖𝗵𝗁, Ma'am Vivian Velez eh.
Yes.
Pangsamantala, habang tinitreatment ako nila. Yun lang po.
Oo. Well, alam mo, Monch, yung compassionate witnessing ng kanilang mga personal series talaga, yung kanilang mga storya, also, I think, help them to recover and then, of course, help others to do the same. No? Kasi yung witnessing and yung kanilang mga testimony na naririnig natin ngayon, nagpapasalamat kami sa iyo dahil alam kong hindi rin madali, no? Na mag-share ng ating mga buhay, no? But then it gives inspiration to others.
Yes.
And mag-pause muna tayo for some reminders, no, Monch? And then pag-uusapan naman natin ang Safe Haven Recovery Village and definitely yung Battle Against Ignorance. With Lito Guruet. At titignan po natin kung paano ba talaga yung transformation na nangyayari no, sa kanila. Maraming salamat at sana makapasyal ako dyan sa Cebu. No? We'll be back after these reminders.
Magandang araw po.
Sa Mindanao, ako si Jude at your service.
Samahan niyo po ako sa mga kwentuhang lokala, turismo, at usapang serbisyo ng buhay at kabuhayan, kalusugan at kalikasan, kultura, sining at kasaysayan dito sa Bayan ni Juan. Sa bayang mapapakinggan at mapapanood sa DZRJ 8:10 AM, ang Radyo Bandido sa Metro Manila. DZRJ Radyo Bandido TV, available sa Sky Cable Channel 224 at sa mga digital box ng GMA Afford Box, ABS-CBN TV Plus Box, sulit TV box ng TV5, live sa Facebook, www.facebook.com/DZRJ810AM at DZRJ810AM Radyo Bandido sa YouTube channel. Tuwing araw ng linggo, alas 3 hanggang alas 4 ng hapon, dito sa Bayan ni Juan.
Contra Birada is back on Radio Bandido TV, simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 AM. Hosted by former spokesperson and chief legal counsel of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, attorney Salvador Sal Panelo. Watch and listen as he talks about the latest news topics and events. Monday to Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Sky Cable Channel 224, all DTT boxes, Facebook.com/DZRJ810AM, and YouTube channel DZRJ810AM Radio Bandido.
Be enlightened with inspiring stories. Interesting biblical features. And insightful interviews with the pillars of our Catholic faith. Power to Unite with Elvira.
Okay, we are back. And Monch, meron ba tayong mga pa-shout out dyan?
Nagpapadala ng messages sina Emmanuel Yeno. So thank you for all your love and support sa Vibe Foundation and Safe Haven. At sina June Vicente at si Chester Reyes. So maraming salamat sa mga nanonood na ating kachicha.
Tsaka happy birthday kay Sir Maki. Happy birthday. And syempre magkikita tayo kaagad. Yun ang ating yung mga para sa bayan ng mga advocacy naman nila Sir Maki sa 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝘵. Hi, hello everyone. Of course, Lito, yung ating battle against ignorance and of course yung Safe Haven, no, Recovery Village. Meron na lang tayong gusto kong pa-post sa studio natin. Kung pwedeng i-post lang natin muna habang pinag-uusapan natin itong Bai Foundation, yung ating mga for donations, no? Kasi importante na ma-flash natin, ano? Okay, yung sa ating sa studio, paki-flash lang. Siguro hinahanap nila, no, kung asan yung slide na yon, ano. But bago dyan, pag-usapan natin kasi importante yung to receive treatment, no, para ma-break lang yung cycle of addiction. Tama ba ito, Lito?
Yes, correct. Before I answer that, well, 𝗵𝗵𝗶 Llanos, who sent message, you interviewed him already. He's the center director of Safe Haven. And then I'd like to say also hello to Mike Diquito. Yeah, he's listening now, and also to my wife, Stella. Anyway, a lot of people, let's say, do not really understand the importance of rehabilitation. So many people believe that they do not need help. And well, for some reason, because there are different kinds of rehab programs, and there are some that are not really that effective. So in Safe Haven kasi, it's different because it's a 12-step, they call it a 12-step program, but the difference is in Safe Haven, you are treated in a loving and safe community. You're accepted there. Walang punishment, walang sigaw-sigaw, wala lahat yan. So, ina-accept ka kung ano ka, then they really try their best to help you in that facility. Kaya sila Berta, sa una, akala niya kinidnap siya, isasalvage siya. Pagdating doon, nagbago yung isip niya kasi minahal siya doon until now. No? So, it's not the typical rehab wherein maraming, sabihin natin, mga violations actually sa masasabing mga mapo-point out ng mga human rights, no? Human rights violations. So it's a loving and safe community. That's why it's called Safe Haven. Ngayon, marami rin magtatanong, kailangan ba ng rehab? Ano bang kailangan ng rehab? I mean, I did not believe in rehab before. Sabi ko, mas matalino naman ako, may talento ako. Bakit ako? Paano makakatulong ang rehab sa akin? Mga addict din yan eh. Nagpapatakbo, yung mga coaches. Sabi ko, how will that help me? But the year 2000, I was brought there after I was stealing already money from my mom who was dying of cancer. Medyo nagkaroon ako ng konsyensya noon. And then my uncle finally told me that, you know, you're the one killing your mom, hindi yung cancer. Because you're keeping her worried. Namamatay na yung mami mo sa sakit mo, iniisip ka pa kung saan ka napupunta, baka nakabulagta ka na lang sakali, baka makita kita sa news, gano'n. So, it was affecting her. Pero yung pera niya pangbili ng gamot niya, ninanakaw ko pa. So finally, I was convinced, sabi ko, sige, I'll just try rehab para lang to appease them kasi medyo na-guilty na ako. But when I got to rehab, it was called, drug abuse research, no, in Cavite. Doon ako nagkaroon ng awakening and realization. First and foremost, I reconnected with Jesus Christ once again, whom I actually did not anymore believe in before. Actually, galit ako noon because during that time, my lowest moments, I wanted him to help me change. But then it didn't happen. Akala ko kasi parang switch lang yan. Lord, bukas ayaw ko nang maging addict. Gusto ko nang tumulong muna ako. Bukas magising ko, wala na. Hindi pala ganun. No, it has to be a process, and you know, he had other plans for me pala. Na kailangan daanan ko lahat yun. Parang OJT eh. Dadaanan mo lahat yan para mas impactful yung story mo later on. So to pass through everything, but then galit ako sa kanya. Sabi ko, I wanted to change already. Lord, eto na ako. Binibigay ko ng sarili ko. Gusto ko na magbago. Ayaw mo ko tulungan. In fact, nagkakasakit pa ako. Sabi ko, hindi na ako naniniwala sa'yo. But when I went to the rehab, I started to reconnect with him again because wala na kasing toxins. No? So this is the difference when you're in a controlled environment. Some people are successful when they self-medicate, when they say, self-rehab ako. Self-rehab ako. So, oo, ang problem sa self-rehab kasi is because you might stop using for some time. But, ang nangyayari lang, nag-abstain ka lang. Kasi kung ang karakter mo marupok pa rin at ang utak mo addict pa rin, it's only a matter of time. Konting stress lang, konting problema, konting tukso, babalik ka ulit. That is why in the rehab, it's important not just to reform the habits, but to transform the character. Ang character kasi ang binabago ulit sa rehab. Kasi, yun nga, abstain ka lang. Kapag sinabi mo, 6 months na ako hindi gumagamit, okay, abstain ka lang. So in the rehab, the advantage is that, number one, you are placed in a controlled environment. So you have no more access to your friends, friends in the drug circle. You will be detoxified. Ibig sabihin, mawawala na yung toxins that take control over your decision making and your outlook sa mundo, no? And then in comes the program to slowly rebuild your character, to add spirituality into your life. So there are many ways that the program can help a person, but yung pinaka-importante yung character talaga, at saka spirituality. Ang Safe Haven kasi is a very spiritual community, di ba? Pastor kasi ang nagpapatakbo niya, siya yung CEO, Pastor Ronnie de los Santos. And ito sinishare niya talaga sa lahat ng mga clients. Again, nobody's punished there, everybody's loved in that facility. Ngayon, anong advantage? Diba? Ang advantage ito is that although no rehab in the world will guarantee 100% that your loved one will change, kahit na even if it's a $3,000 a day rehab in Thailand, you know, what the rehab will offer is a chance for you to go through the right path once again. Pag wala ka sa rehab, wala kang path. Diba? Wala kang opportunity to see the right and wrong. Diba? Yung rehab kasi, parang going back to school again, but the difference is, it's like relearning. School is like a school of life. Anong gagawin mo paglabas mo? Paano mo i-rebuild yung sarili mo kapag yung relationship sa family mo ay sira pa rin? Diba? Babalik ka ulit sa dati. Yung family naman, paano naman sila makakatulong pag sila mismo hindi rin natututo kung paano i-handle yung recovery ng tao, ng mahal nila sa buhay. So, the family also has to undergo training, rehabilitation, and then i-rebuild ulit yung relationship nila.
Reintegration.
Kasi kahit na nag 1 year na ako, ayan, yung love gift. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Lito, ha. Ito lang po, pinost na po natin yung ating donations, for peso donations natin, yung PNB natin, So, sa Battle Against Ignorance Foundation, Inc. Ito po yung account number. Pakisulat na lang po, 304-07-000-390. Account number 30407003920. Ito po yung Battle Against Ignorance Foundation, Inc. At doon sa ating mga US dollar donations, kasi marami rin naman po tayong, lalo na dyan sa ating 𝗵𝗶𝘁, yung aming organization, mahilig po talagang tumulong. Ito po yung sa US donations natin, Battle Against Ignorance Foundation, Inc. Account number 304-006-0020678. Again po, account number 304-006-0020678. May SWIFT code po yan, yung capital letters po lahat. PNB, MP, as in Philippines, HMM. Yan, PNB, MP, HMM. And of course, meron tayong...
Para naman doon sa mga gusto mag-donate sa GCash, usong-uso ang GCash, meron po tayong pwede nyo i-scan, meron po tayong QR code sa ating screen. At sa mga gusto po magpadala sa number, ito pong Juan Miguel R. Gruet, 0915-840-8151. So that's 0915-840-8151. Ayan mga kachicha.
Pwede nilang i-scan yan. Babalik po natin yan later on. And of course, yung mga nanonood sa YouTube, they can always replay, di ba?
Yes.
So, napaka-importante rin po yan at sasabihin natin, na-cut natin si Lito kung gaano ka-importante. Lito kasi, of course, pag-uusapan natin, we still have time, Kaya lang, kaya natin inaano yan. Kasi, syempre, yung facility na sinasabi natin, relies upon sponsorships po ng private sector. Kaya napaka-importante niyan. Kahit po ako na nagsasalita kay Lito, kahit po maliit no, na donations, pero pagka pinagsama-sama po natin yan, malaki na rin po. Pero syempre, mas maganda yung malaki, no? Anyway.
Yeah. Actually, then, ako, ang ganda ng sinabi ni Sir Lito kanina, no, na parang, karamihan kasi yun sa ating mga target beneficiaries, mga dependents, mga taong naghihingi ng tulong, merong takot. Na kagaya nga ni Teacher 𝗄𝗶𝘁 kanina, no, parang una natakot siya na baka isalvage siya, baka 'di ba, dukutin na lang siya ng kung sino. Merong ganung klaseng pangamba or paranoia, especially pagka lulong ka na sa droga. So may mga kaya tawag ito, ang ganda nung ang ganda kasi nung programa na sinasabi ni Sir Lito na kagaya ng nitong Safe Haven at saka ng Foundation, na very holistic ang nagiging treatment dito sa ating mga beneficiaries, spiritual, scientific, and empowerment.
Oo, hindi kasi may stigma kasi about drug rehabilitation being rough area for change, di ba? Usually yun ang inisip natin, ano? But then, ang alam ko dito sa Safe Haven, kasi nakausap ko si Sir De Los Santos, no? Siya ang ating...
and Eman also.
Na-explain niya sa atin, yung Safe Haven, kasi parang resort type.
Yes. May swimming pool, basketball court, meron siyang videoke, may billiards, may gym. So it's like a community, hindi siya parang kulungan, no? Maganda siya. Yung Safe Haven pala is a private facility, so they cannot really accept donations directly, but then it passes through Battle Against Ignorance Foundation. So yung foundation does not have a facility, so ang nangyayari, ang treatment facility is Safe Haven, but yung Bai Foundation naman is not limited to Safe Haven. Eventually, pag lumaki na talaga yung Bai Foundation, God willing, we can also venture out and reach out to other facilities na pwede rin naming tulungan.
Well, common barriers talaga yan, yung inadequate resources. Alam naman natin yan.
Always.
Equipment, no? But what about government support, Lito? Are we getting from Cebu government?
Yeah, we already applied for that. We already accredited by the Cebu City Council, and we will be applying for a grant. No? But then medyo matagal-tagal pa kasi yun eh. Maraming red tape, tsaka you have to wait for the next fiscal year, yung mga ganun. So sa akin naman kasi, what I'm trying to do now at the moment is try to raise money from my own efforts also, and some efforts from some people. So mga friends, mga relatives ko ganun, nag-chip in sila, nagbibigay lahat. So far nakasurvive kami for so many months, no? So but we really need help because we would like to help more people. So ngayon ang tinutulungan ng Bai Foundation is indirectly mga 14 indigents, but yung mga directly mga 4. So we're just restarting once again. Ngayon, yung nga sinasabi na the difference between yung rehab kasi is nire-rebuild yung buhay mo talaga. Kasi nga, the family also has to know whether they are the ones contributing also to the problem. Minsan sila yung konsentidor, minsan sila yung toxic environment nila. Pag ang tao, kahit na matino na or tapos na sabihin natin maganda na yung performance niya, may acceptance na siya, may humility na lahat-lahat, paglabas niya, babalik siya ulit sa ganung toxic environment. So, mangyayari dyan, babalik ulit. Diba? Sayang. So that's why the family is integrated with the person undergoing recovery. It has to be i-rebuild ulit yung relationship. Otherwise, hindi sila ipapalabas until ready na rin ang family. So yun. So ito difference between going to a rehab and mag-self-medicate ka. Ako, ilang beses ako nag-try in 16 years. Self-medicate ako, ayaw ko na sabi ko, pagod na ako, dami ko ng sakit, gusto na magpahinga. But after 3 days, eto, magkikick in na naman yung cravings at lahat-lahat. So, because wala akong support. Wala akong plans. Walang tumutulong sa akin para mag-inspire people who will try to encourage me. Ganun, wala eh. Solo lang ako eh. So, ibig sabihin, these are very important factors. Saka wala yung Diyos sa buhay ko. So now I've rediscovered God. And really everything, all my recovery, how He put everything back together again, how He put all the pieces together again. I was not the one who did it. Hindi ko alam paano nangyari lahat ito. At to this point, I'm talking to you now, I could have been dead, I could have been in jail, or I could have been in a mental institution. But I'm talking now all because of God's grace.
Yes.
Talaga. So, yun nga, ang sabi ko, purpose talaga kami. And that's what we're trying to do also sa mga, we want to save more. As you said, di ba earlier, Vivian, yung mga nakakatulong talaga ay mga tao na nanggaling dun sa situation. Even the cancer survivors, they're the ones who help. These mga rape victims, di ba? Rape survivors, sila rin tumutulong sa mga, kasi nadaanan nila yun, alam nila yung pain, alam nila yung anxiety, alam nila yung fears. Kaya kapag kami humarap sa isang drug dependent, hindi nila pwedeng sabihin na wala kang alam, paano mo matutulungan? Sasabihin natin, mali ka. Lahat ng nararamdaman mo, lahat ng naranasan mo, alam ko yun.
Yeah.
And I will not be going against you. I will be helping you. Ganun yung approach namin. Tutulungan ka namin.
At saka March, para sa akin kasi napaka-importante talaga is to find the right rehabilitation center. Kasi importante po yun dun sa recovery. And I really do believe na itong safe haven on the way, kasi iba-ibang facility naman kasi, di ba, dito, iba-ibang techniques, di ba, or, treatments na ginagawa, no? And tama ka, yun sa sinabi na nga natin nung una, na talagang because karamihan, no, na nandito sa safe haven, talagang like yourself, you've been there. Parang gano'n. You've done that and you've been there. So,
been there, done that.
So napaka-importante yung ating rehabilitation. And then sana nga talagang yung mga nakikinig ngayon at saka yung nakakapanood, napaka-importante po na talagang, kasi parang community effort ang kailangan din kahit paano, dahil kung hindi rin kakayanin. Because is it expensive to have a rehabilitation center, Lito?
Well, that's subjective, no? Pag sinabi mong expensive. In the first place, Safe Haven is accredited by the Department of Health, no? So importante yun. Secondly is that in Safe Haven, they have you won't be accredited kung di kompleto yung staffing mo. So you have recovery coaches, you have on-call doctors, meron din in-house doctors and nurses, meron din social workers, may mga interns doon, di ba? They have psychologists. So yung masasabi mong expensive, depende lang talaga yon. The average now of average, no, sa pagkakaalam ko, na mga rehabs range from 40 to 50,000 a month. That's excluding yung mga medical or tsaka yung mga gamot. So that's the basic board and lodging. And mas mura yung sa government, no? Mas mura siya, but of course, the government, you're talking about a big population in a facility. So yung pagka-personalize na is in question also, no? Although I'm not saying that the rehab, the program of Safe Haven is better than theirs, but it means to say that iba yung approach kasi. Now, in Safe Haven, they charge about 35. But then it's also socialized. It depends also on the capacity to pay of the person. So actually, mura na yung 35 compared to the others. So I was asked before, bakit napakamahal ng mga rehab facilities? Sabi ko, syempre, you have to pay rent, you have to pay salaries, you have to pay overhead, electricity, aircon, lahat yun. So, you put that all together, hindi talaga mura. Pagkain mo pa lang, magkano na daily, no? So, but, what I really want to express is that, yung isang nagtanong sa akin noon, bakit sabi niya, ba't ang mahal naman yan? Sabi, well, in the first place, kung makulong yung mahal niyo sa buhay, or sabi natin madisgrasya, God forbid, may trahedya nangyari, wala yung monthly na yan. You'll be talking about spending millions. Pag nakulong yung anak nyo, you'll be talking to judges, you'll be talking to lawyers, you'll be going to hearings, left and right, baka makulong pa, magkano ang gastos mo nun. Iba naman, napaka-destructive, ang daming mga ginagawa sa labas na in the end, ang mga magulang magbabayad, milyones yung binabayaran. So for them, it's cheap na going to a rehab facility. So the important thing is, you look for a rehab that offers value for your money. Yan ang importante. Kasi marami dyan. As I said, punta ka sa Thailand, meron $3,000 a day yung mga rehab facilities nila. Mga taga-Hollywood dun pumupunta. Of course, walang nakakaalam. So, it doesn't guarantee that you will reform. In the end, nasa tao pa rin yun. Nasa tao pa rin yun.
Yeah, in the end, of course, second chances at para makatulong tayo, para makatulong sa isang tao that we can save another person's life, di ba? Kasi napaka-importante yun. I think that is the bottom line. And as we said, minsan talaga ganun ang tadhana. And, at hindi naman, we cannot fault anyone. Lito, do you have any more questions, Monj? Or we can already ask Lito for his final words.
Yeah, actually, yun nga parang sa ating mga kachisat, it's not the end of the road. Lalo na doon sa ating mga target beneficiaries na once you get into addiction, it's not the end of your life, it's not a death sentence. You just seek the right people, the right organizations na makakatulong sa inyo. And ito kagaya nitong organization na to, merong empathy na ibibigay sa inyo because they can understand what you went through at yung reintegration sa society ang kanilang tututukan. Ayan.
Ang galing ni Raymond. Ang dami mong alam.
Yes.
Maganda yung sinasabi mo eh. I don't need to explain anything anymore. Magaling.
Okay. Any final words pa dito? Wala na?
Okay, my final words is, well, first and foremost, thank you, Raymond, and thank you, Vivian, Sister Vivian, for always not just being a friend and a sister, but also giving importance to what we do, no? So talagang to be invited for a second time is really something already. Ibig sabihin, you find value in it. And secondly is that, remember, if you know there is a problem, especially with addiction, do not believe that when you wake, that will just go away. No? If no action is taken, then nothing changes. Diba? Ibig sabihin nun, if you, lalo na sa mga konsentidor dyan, yung mga enablers, if you allow your loved one to continue taking drugs, in effect, you are actually telling them to continue to commit a crime. You're actually telling them to continue to destroy your life or destroy other people's lives also. So, ibig sabihin, wag kayo maging konsentidor. When there is a problem, you should act on it right away because it will not go away at lalong lalala yan. And trust me, lalala talaga yan. And for this opportunity that we have once again, we would like to ask your help. Sana makatulong kayo sa BAI Foundation, Battle Against Ignorance Foundation, because we really need support now so that we can help more people like Berta and Mr. Cook and so many others. Alam mo kasi, hindi kaya ng gobyerno lahat yan eh. Kahit sabihin mo na no matter how they try, they really need also help from the private sector. So kami ngayon sa BAI Foundation, we're focusing on although we, as I said, we want to help the broken, lonely, wounded, and hurting. We also would want to help even street children, mga senior people, mga PWDs, and all that, which we eventually will. But for now, we are focusing on drug dependents that want to change but hindi nila kaya yung payment ng treatment. Tutulungan namin sila kapag pinakita nila na willing sila tapos wala talaga silang pambayad. And also people like Berta, no, na mga street dwellers na kaya pa namang bagong buhay. Sayang kasi, wag na sa nating paabutan na maging permanent yung damage ng brain ng tao. Kawawa naman talaga sila. So please help us, and I would like to thank all our staff, mga volunteers sa 𝗵𝗁 Foundation. Actually, halos lahat volunteers. Like now, Stephanie's here with us. Mga volunteers talaga sila. Wala talaga kaming yung masasabi na permanent na nagtatrabaho eh. Puro tulong-tulong lang kami. And then sa lahat ng staff na tumutulong, volunteers sa 𝗵𝗁 Foundation, tsaka sa mga safe haven, mga staff din sila. Maraming salamat because we are actually mga unsung heroes din sila eh. Hindi madali magpatakbo ng rehab. Hindi madali magbago ng buhay ng isang tao na ayaw magbago. And that's a challenge there. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Maraming salamat, of course, sa aking kapatid, sa aking brother na 𝗖𝗵𝗁𝗶, at yung nakasama natin kanina, si Kuya Berta, and of course, si Mr. Cook, no? I'm sure madaming natuto at na-inspire sa mga kwento nila at kwento nyo. You know, the adage, it takes a village to raise a child, appears to be just as true for drug recovery. And the same concept applies to quitting drugs. Breaking the cycle of drug addiction isn't as simple as pulling yourself together. It requires a support team and a lot of effort. Entering rehab is essential to turning your life around, and finding the right rehabilitation center is an important part of that recovery. So mga bumubuo ng Battle Against Ignorance Foundation and Safe Haven Recovery Village, saludo kami sa inyo and keep it up.
Yan, tama-tama. Kaya mga kachicha, habang ang buhay may pag-asa, hope springs eternal. Kaya abangan niyo po ulit kami next Sunday, 5 p.m. dito lamang sa DZRJ Radio Bandido for another insightful episode. Ito po si Raymond Diamzon, nagpapasalamat at nag-iiwan ng magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
At ako naman, si Vivian Velez, laging magsisilbi para maghatid ng kwentong kapupulutan ng aral, aliw at pag-asa. Para sa inyo, para sa sining at para sa bayan. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. See you, everyone. See you next Sunday. Thank you, Lito. Thank you. Ayan. Ang ating donations.
Thank you.
Pahabol.
Pahabol. Screenshot na.
Thank you, DZRJ.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not